I just want to talk a little bit about supervision and some of the challenges of supervision, particularly if you're new to a supervisory role. Quite often people come into a supervisory role from the shop floor, and quite often without any training, and so it's quite daunting. Over the years, this has led to some quite serious outcomes. In fact, in about 10 years ago, the West Australian government, the Mines Department, did an analysis of the fatal incidents in the state and found that 67%, or roughly, of people who were fatally injured or seriously injured had had a supervisor with less than 2 years' experience. This sent a bit of a shockwave through the industry, and the most recent outcome has been that the government requires training for supervisors, which is probably what you're doing this course for. So the training is a really important way for you to understand the role of a supervisor and how to do it effectively. One of the major issues with being a supervisor is that you're stuck between two bosses, if you like, two sets of people that you're working for. So obviously you're working for the senior leadership team. They're going to give you the direction of the organisation and the resources that you need to do your job. But then you're also working with your team members, and you probably feel closer to those team members than you do to the management team. And so you've got this little bit of a dilemma, is that you're no longer one of the boys or one of the girls. You're in a leadership role, but you're not up there with the senior leaders, and so sometimes you can feel a bit left out, a little bit isolated, and this can be quite stressful for a new supervisor. So what I'd like to go through in this training are a few ways of sort of fast tracking how to become a good supervisor, and give you some skills that I think will help you become a good supervisor. At the core of good supervision is this vision. So think of the word supervision. The vision, as in being seen and getting out there and going and having a look, is crucial to the effectiveness of being a good supervisor. So think about that when you're kind of wondering what to do. Yes, I've got to go and have a look. I've got to get out there and go and have a look and see what's going on. And in this course, I'll talk to you a little bit about what are you going to look for. In occupational health and safety terms, the most important thing is to make sure that the controls of risk are in place. So if your people have done a risk assessment and they've designed a series of controls, they've agreed how they're going to do a job, when you go out there and view the job, you want to make sure that those controls are actually in place. And if they're not, you can stop the job, regroup the team, and then start again when it's going ahead as planned. That planning is really important in supervision. What we need you to be able to do is make sure that the plans are put into action. You can improve the plans, and you're going to be encouraged to make your own plans. But what we need supervisors to do is to make sure that the plans are put in place. So my message for supervisors is work together in a team. Share your knowledge and ideas about being a good supervisor. Help out the new supervisors. Just remember what it was like when you were a new supervisor. I remember myself exactly how I described to you, feeling a bit isolated, feeling like I didn't really know who to turn to, because I was no longer one of the frontline workers, and I'm still not one of the senior managers. So remember what that feels like, and help out those supervisors who are new to the task, and help them be a good supervisor by going out and learning how to interact with their employees and how to get the most out of their team. Supervising people is a hard and often complicated job, but it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding when your team members say to you, "Thanks, boss, it's great working in this team," or you can feel the joy of your team because they've achieved a difficult task or outcome. And when people look to you and say, "Thanks for being a good boss," you'll know you're doing the right thing. So aim for that. Work hard at being a supervisor to give the guidance, motivation and feedback, but then also enjoy the wins.